Meredith Gorman here, and are you still not subscribed to Matt's channel? Well, if you're not, hit the subscribe button because he's giving out free picks each and every week. Hope you have a good rest of your day.
UFC Winnipeg back in Canada for a fight night card. Malott versus Burns in the main event. Canadian boy in the main event because it is a fight night card, so they can get away with it. Systemsportscapping.com is the website, or link.me/systemcapping for everything system sports, client opportunities, beat the sports books long term. While you profit most months against the books. Currently handicapping the UFC PGA main focus every week. NHL, NBA playoffs at low volume. I will be handicapping when I find good spots. And then World Cup. World Cup is around the corner. Future markets will be handicapping games pretty much every day when I can find some good value. We've had a lot of success in international soccer tournaments. Like this video, guys, if you're watching on YouTube. If you're listening just on Spotify or Apple, you can review it. You can share it. Best way to support myself if you're not already a client. UFC 327 recap. What a card. Card of the year so far. One of the better cards we've seen in a while. Mainly due to, there's some, I would say a handful of good fights, but one of the better fights we've seen all year. I would say second best UFC heavyweight fight from what I can recall. Maybe I'm missing something, but the Hockett and Blades fight, we'll talk about that shortly. But we got to start with Ahlberg. What an impressive win. No shot I thought he could win that fight with that leg hurt. He tore it. I don't know if it's official if he tore the ACL. It looks like he did. That's what it looks like. They haven't officially came out and confirmed that. What are the odds? Odds are super low. Unless you Yuri with that poor defense, right? I stayed away from Yuri for betting purposes due to his poor defense and due to Ahlberg having those heavy hands. I didn't bet the fight at all. I stayed away from it personally, but Ahlberg just has that one-shot power. He has that power, and that defense against Yuri was exploited. And Yuri does not do well when it's against very structured and disciplined strikers. Pereira, now Ahlberg. Kickboxing style fighters. So he struggled, right? Against a guy with one leg. Before that, the fight was it's very even, right? Not too much went on. When did this fight end? Like halfway through the first round. And, Yuri's coming out with some excuses, which I don't really like. I get what he did, though, and I do agree that he kind of held up and pointed to the ground. Said, let's just fight here. Let's not allow you to move around. You don't do that. Why do that? When you're in a big fight. Why give your opponent, when he's already hurt his leg, an opportunity to get back in the fight? Very mind-boggling. I don't know what he was thinking. He should have attacked that leg. He should have attacked as much as possible with pressure and not allow him to get back into it. So, I don't think Yuri fought smart. I get his, martial arts code or whatever he says to respect. But when you're fighting like that, you can't give your opponent any respect. So, tough one there. One fight I got wrong, I did bet, was the Russian, Mirzakhanov over Costa. I thought he would come with a little more pressure. I thought he would be able to catch Costa, but those leg kicks, again, hurt another opponent. Back-to-back Russians he's been hurting with these leg kicks, and he caught him with some big shots, finished him. Very impressive by Costa. It's got to tip my hat. I thought that maybe he would take a step back, but 205 looks great for him. He moved up. Remember, he was coming from 185, so I wasn't really confident how that would play out, but definitely value at the price on Costa. I had the Russian in a 2-5 parlay. Other side hit. We missed out on that side. The heavyweight fight. Hockett versus Blades. Wow. Who would have thought the fight would have been that good? I had Hockett plus 110. Good value there. Hopefully you guys did tail that. Definitely didn't expect the fight to look like that, though. Unbelievable. I got to give a hats off to Blades, too. We never seen Blades show that type of toughness before. His face was battered up. I think he stayed in that fight due to adrenaline. So many people were messaging him throughout the week, please beat Hogan, right? I actually would have liked to see Hogan. Well, no, because I had a bet on him. I just don't like Hogan as his personality. As a fighter, hey, I'm a big fan, and you should be too after that fight. You don't have to like his style, right? So, happy I was able to cash on the Hoka ticket plus 110. And he got, the fight was so good, he got a White House fight against, who was it against? Why am I forgetting? Derek Lewis. Of course, Derek Lewis. Trump called for it. Trump's favorite fighter. He asked Dana White, why is Derek Lewis not on the fight? Oh, yeah, why not? Let's get Hogan against him. They both accepted. We got another fight on the card. It's a great fight, especially if you open up the card with that, right? That would be awesome to see. Looking forward to that one. Reyes got it done. Terrible fight over Walker. And then Cub Swanson. I had a client bet on Cub Swan. Hopefully you guys did tail. I gave him out on the video too. Great spot for against a guy that's been struggling, right? Durability has been an issue for Landwehr. And it was proven again. So Cub Swanson, great career. Hats off to him. What a legend of the game. Let's get into this card in Winnipeg, Canada. You don't want to go to Winnipeg in the winter. It's April, so it should be a little better, but don't expect it to be, it's going to be still at night, probably 1 or 2 degrees. So it's not going to be nice over there. So someone like Burns, who's coming from, probably Vegas or Brazil, big weather change there. And Malott minus 320 versus Burns plus 255. Right off the bat, guys, a ton of value on Burns here. I don't agree with the price. Definitely inflated here. And for multiple reasons, we'll go over that here. Who is his wins, guys? Mike Malott, right? Giles, Radke, and Kevin Holland during this 3-fight stretch. Now, that Kevin Holland fight, it's a decent, solid win on your resume, but the way he won the fight, if you went back and watched it, there was multiple growing shots. Holland was compromised throughout the fight. Kevin Holland, I have him as a mid-tier type of fighter in this division. So that's his best win so far in the UFC, guys. Burns has been there, done that. Fought everybody. Sure, he's lost 4 in a row, but who are his opponents, guys? Bilal, Della Maddalena, Sean Brady, and Morales. Top fighters in this division. Now, he is 39, which has me concerned. I believe his durability has taken a step back. He's been knocked out twice in his last 3 fights. Again, though, against Maddalena and Morales. Not Malott's level. Now, Malott has some hands. He has some power. He could hurt Burns in this fight. I wouldn't be shocked if he finishes Burns. But at this price at minus 320, very difficult for me to back Malott here. If you had this fight 110, I would lean Malott. The younger guy, believe he should be stronger, should be a little faster, and does have the power advantage. However, he's not going to have the grappling advantage or wrestling advantage. He has at times moved to trying to get fights down to the ground, uses grappling. Burns, one of the best grapplers in the division, right? So I think if this fight stays on the feet, it is a slight advantage for Malott due to his power. He's able to use some range at some times. He's able to nice jab and keep the distance. But Burns, been there, done that, guys. 5-round fight favors Burns. We haven't seen Malott in a 5-round fight. A lot of things that's telling me here that this 320 is not warranted. And again, fighting in Canada I don't really look at it too much. He's lost before in Canada. A lot of Canadian fighters lose fighting in Canada. So I don't really look at it as a big advantage. I think for some fighters, it does help. For some fighters, it doesn't. It's hard to distinguish between who it helps and who it doesn't. So I'm not going to focus too much into that in the handicap. Malott, I do believe his path would be to hurt Burns and finish him on the feet. 5-round fight, he probably would have the slight advantage because I think if it does go 5 rounds, maybe he landed more. Because again, Burns not going to have success taking down Malott. Right? I don't believe he will. If he does, I don't think Malott's going to stay on the ground. So if this fight's just standing on the feet, Slight edge to Malott. So the lean is to Malott, but I just can't bet him at this price. How do I bet him at minus 320? If I look at an outcome, very difficult. TKO, KO, or decision. Not confident there anywhere. So I'll probably be staying away completely from this fight for podcast purposes. Lean Malott. Can't bet it due to the price. Value on Burns. If you guys are taking Burns at this price, I would not call you crazy. Just remember, about 4 fights ago, Malott lost to Magny in a veteran-style fight. 3rd round, gassed out, and that's why Magny won. So if Malott is in the 3rd, 4th, 5th round, advantage Burns, even though at 39, right? The 39 does scare me a little bit. I do believe Burns has taken a step back. That's why I'm leaning Malott here in this spot. But just the price has me off this fight. Like, it's just very difficult for me to bet here. And for guys, playing Burns as a small unit, throwing some small, I don't blame you. Problem is, you missed a good line. This opened up at like Burns plus 350. So if you bet it there, hats off to you on that price. Just how do you bet Malott now at this price? Just very difficult. He opened up even larger, and a lot of money came on Burns, and I get it. I get it due to the price and due to Malott's history against a veteran guy. Hasn't fought the 5 rounds. Staying away from this one, lean is Malott, though. Let's see what he has. Fun co-main here. Kyler Phillips plus 130 versus Charles Jourdain minus 165. Should be a lot of action in this one, a lot of striking. We could see some grappling maybe coming from the Charles Jourdain side. Maybe even Phillips tries to wrestle because Jourdain is terrible against takedown defense. His takedown defense is below 50%. Phillips would be interesting to see if he mixes it up. Phillips obviously comes out strong usually. First round, second round fighter. The longer the fight goes, he does kind of slow down. I think that's where Jourdain could take advantage here. I think the line is about accurate compared to the first fight. The first fight's, I believe, off the market lines here. Here's about accurate. I have Jourdain as a smaller favorite, maybe minus 150, minus 135, in that range. So I'm not going to argue it too much. So I think there's a little value here on Phillips. I think Phillips' back is up against the wall. He's lost 2 fights in a row, guys. 2 fights in a row against fairly solid competition, right? I would say good competition. Rob Font and then Vincius Oliveira. So those are good 2 fighters that he lost to. I'm not going to hold too much against him here. I think this is a winnable fight for him. Jourdain has won 2 fights in a row against Henry and Grant. Both wins by guillotine. Very good sneaky submission game. I think Phillips should be ready for that. Phillips has still never been finished in his UFC career. So keep that in mind, guys. So Phillips plus 130 value there. That's the way I would look to avoid 3. When you lose 3 fights in a row in the UFC, guys, you're starting to get in that cut territory. Younger fighter, I don't think they would cut him if he loses this fight. But you're starting to get into that territory of losing, right? Getting cut. It's back up against the wall. I like Phillips here. I think he can go in there, even hurt Jourdain. We've seen Jourdain hurt at times on the feet. I think this should be a competitive, fun fight. Due to pricing here, give me Phillips plus 130. Hasn't made my client card as of yet. Nalo minus 170 versus Herbert plus 145. UFC debut for Nalo, Canadian fighter. Has a ton of experience, Bellator, etc. And he has a win on Dana White Contender Series. Resume experience does go to Herbert, of course. Herbert has the better, at least, resume, losses, right? He has a loss coming off against Chris Padilla. Not a good loss there. He does have a nice win over another Canadian, mind you, Kyle Nelson, which is worth mentioning, one of his better wins. Guys, remember, fun fact, if you guys remember, he lost to Topuria, but he did knock Topuria down. The only guy that has knocked Topuria down has been Jai Herbert. Yes, believe it or not. But definitely resume advantage there for Herbert. I'm actually going to lean the Canadian minus 170. Ton of experience, guys. He's a 36-year-old debut fighter. This is everything he could have hoped for. This is everything in his MMA career that he's grinded out for, to fight in the UFC at home. He's getting his shot here. Again, Bellator experience. He's not like some, no experience regional scene guy. So I'm going to lean his way. I think he has the volume advantage here, and that's why I think he wins this fight. Herbert, very low volume throughout his career. And I think that's where Nelo could win. And if it does go to the decision in Canada, I think he gets the job done. Jasudavicius minus 290 versus Silva plus 235. Price I don't agree with. Very hard to back Jasmine at this price. Minus 290. You can't bet that. So you'd have to find an outcome here. And I'm going to lean outcome decision. And I am going to believe Jasmine gets the job done here. A couple of reasons. I think Silva does have very good grappling and wrestling, but she's not going to be able to out-wrestle Jasmine here. Jasmine's going to be able to actually take down Silva if she wants. We'll have to be careful with the submission. But I think Jasmine's wrestling is going to be an issue for Silva. Jasmine's going to have the striking advantage. Silva has very low volume on the feet, under 2.5 significant strikes per minute. So I think Jasmine, coming off a loss, she actually has a resume advantage. She's fought Faro, has that experience. I think she comes back hungry here and finds a way to beat Silva. Silva does well when she can out-wrestle or grapple you. I don't believe she's going to have that success here. So Jasmine's the play. If I look at an outcome, I'm going to lean the decision, even though there could be a finish in this fight, some sort of ground and pound style finish. But I'll lean the finish. I'll lean the decision here to improve the price. Very difficult to bet Jasmine at this price at 290. Famous 2-fight parlay. It could be a piece, but I have to shop around and get a better number than that. Last one we'll talk about here, guys. Gage Young, minus 240 versus Moises. Thiago Moises is back, plus 115. I always think like Thiago Moises is like some older guy, right? Just because he's been around, been in some big fights. He's only 31, which is wild. Feels like he's been in there forever, right? He has some good wins. Costa in 2023, 3 losses in his last 5, though. Remember, he's fought his last 3 losses, Ludovic Klein, very good. Saint Denis, very good. And then, yeah, Jared Gordon, not so much. That wasn't a great loss. But keep in mind, guys, he did go 4 rounds with Islam Makhachev. Never forget that. 4 rounds with Islam Makhachev. Don't forget that. And that's why this fight is just total passable for me. I cannot bet this fight. It's just, how do you bet this fight? Young, I'm not high on. 1-1 in the UFC. Very low level competition he's fought. Moises has a ton of more experience. Now, Gage Young, he's a younger guy. He could come in. He has a little bit of a wrestling background. If I gun to my head, you told me I have to bet this fight, it's going to be Moises at plus 115. But I'm not betting this fight. This is a strong pass. This is a fight you should not be betting, guys. Stay away from this one. That will do it, guys. That will do it. Fairly good card, some good fights on here, but a lot of Canadian fighters. If you're a Canadian fan or like those fighters to follow them, a couple good fights here, but it's a fight night card, so we're not too excited about this one. Like I always say, guys, bet smart and know your limits. Enjoy this card.